Anthony Broome's going to join us right now to talk about Michigan with another easy win. You want, if you're a big fan of college football, you want these brands that we've talked about today, Florida State and USC and Texas and others, to emerge all simultaneously and let the bloodbath begin. There he is. Anthony Broome from the Wolverine joins us again. Hey, Anthony, how are you? Good morning, buddy.
I'm wonderful. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, it's good to have you back. Look, that's a ho-hum win. We know what it was going to be all along, but I guess let's look big picture here. It's nice to be able to sleepwalk in a game like that against Nebraska. Did Michigan come out healthy from this game?
A couple guys banged up. Donovan Edwards was, as Jim Harbaugh put it, working through something. I think he'll be fine moving forward. They were without Luke Schoonmaker, their starting tight end, still without starting right tackle and Trente Jones. But I think for the most part, they come out of this game relatively unscathed. There wasn't Mike Morris injury at the end of the game. That we'll see what happens there. But, nothing I've heard coming out of last night's game would suggest any concern for, maybe guys sit out next week, but the big one's 2 weeks from yesterday against Ohio State. I don't have concern about any guys in that regard yet.
Yeah, Michigan continues to bludgeon people on the ground. You saw it yet again in this game. Every week it's fun to watch Blake Corum run the football, another 160-plus yard game for him. Offensive line leading the way. This is one of, if not the best rushing attack in college football. Fun to watch. I would imagine right now that the continued successes of Michigan football has led to what should be a great recruiting class. We're getting close now where we start to look a little bit in that direction. Give me big picture outlook for Michigan's recruiting class right now.
Yeah, recruiting is, to be frank, not probably where it should be at the moment. They had a lot of momentum coming out of, they cleaned up really well at the end of the last, before the last early signing period. After you beat Ohio State, win the Big Ten, and then, during the offseason you have, there's some NIL stuff. Michigan's been a little bit slow to adapt there. Jim Harbaugh, goes through the little dance that he did with the Minnesota Vikings. So recruiting has taken a bit of a hit. There are some guys in the class that I think have some bright long-term outlooks. And even, you go back to the guys from the last recruiting class, how we tie this all together in terms of big picture outlook. I think right now this program has a nice little 2-3 year window where with the core group of guys that they have on the roster now, mixed with some of the guys that they have coming up, I think they have staying power. For them to stay where they're at past this 2 or 3 year stretch, whatever it winds up being, you've got to keep hammering away at it. Michigan's a school that typically pre-NIL is recruiting at a top 10 level, top 5 level some years. And this current class hasn't been that yet, but so some things to kind of work on there. But this is everything that's happening right now at Michigan has staying power and, quite frankly, still has so much room to improve too.
Well, and I think this is fun to talk big picture here, Anthony, because you alluded to it just a moment ago. Harbaugh's dalliance with the NFL in the offseason with the Minnesota Vikings no doubt had to have hurt the prospects of recruiting, because if you're a recruit, you want to know who you're going to go play for, and if you're uncertain, if he's still making overtures towards the NFL. Now you have a situation where the Indianapolis Colts obviously have hired Jeff Saturday. We know Harbaugh's connections to the Indianapolis Colts. I don't know if Jeff Saturday is the long-term answer. It is a weird hire, to say the least, but I am kind of curious. Has there been talk there in Ann Arbor about whether or not Harbaugh would be interested in that job if it were to come available?
Yeah, it seems like every year it's been sort of the NFL rumors that cry wolf. And then last year he actually winds up getting on a plane and going to Minnesota. So it's tough to say. No matter what people say about what they know about Jim Harbaugh's intentions, he doesn't have an agent. He keeps his circle pretty tight, and he's a bit unpredictable when it comes to matters close to him. So I tend to believe that, he got the new contract from Michigan, signed the new contract from Michigan, with Michigan continuing to win at this pace and, the money that's pouring into the program, it's probably would behoove them to put a little more money in his pocket. I don't think he wants to be anywhere else. I think the last couple of years we've seen a guy who is, I think, as loose as he's been. I think is having as much fun as he's ever had coaching this football team, and winning football games obviously helps with that. But I think as long as he feels the love from the University of Michigan and the administration, which the new university president loves him. I know he's got a supporter in Ward Manuel in the athletic department, guy who held on to him when a lot of people said they probably should have fired him after the COVID season. So he has support there, but I do think that if you want to keep this build moving along, the resources have to just keep pouring in, and he has to feel the support and the respect that, quite frankly, at this point he deserves.
I would think it's just, I'm just riffing here. You and I are having a conversation. It seems to me from a distance that this is the perfect scenario. He was able to hang in there, survive a couple of near firings, if you will, or potentially. They're playing the brand of football that he adores, right? This is what he wants. Michigan wants to bludgeon people. He wants to play the old Stanford offense that he had. He's making money. He's back in good graces. Michigan, I would think, is not in any trouble from an NIL standpoint. They've got a ton of money. Like, why would you be looking anywhere else? To me, this is, you would set it and forget it and be here for the next 10 to 15 years and get ready for your annual war with Ohio State.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, I think that's where things are right now. I mean, I haven't heard anything, since the two sides kind of came back together after that Vikings thing that would suggest that there's any friction or a lack of support there. I think both sides know that they've got things pretty good right now. There's a lot of programs across college football that would kill for, this is now that Michigan's 10-0, the fifth time under Jim Harbaugh they've done that. It's the first time they've ever started 10-0 under him. First time they've done it since 2006. They're 22-2 over the last 24 games with him at the helm. To me, I mean, whatever it takes to keep this train rolling, it's no questions asked to me. I mean, whatever, if there needs to be a little bit of a raise, if there needs to be more money added to the assistant coaching staff, which I think his staff has been phenomenal too. And that's a huge reason for why they've been able to kind of turn things around these last couple of years is the talent and the aptitude of the guys on that staff. I don't see a scenario where I don't think we're going through the same things this February that we were last year, I think is the easiest way for me to put it. It's all hands on deck right now. And quite frankly, where it should be.
Anthony, obviously a lot of excitement surrounding Michigan football right now, and you guys are covering it at the Wolverine. As far as that coverage goes, what could we look forward to if we were to jump on there today and read what you guys are producing? And what do we have to look forward to? Obviously, it's the build up to the showdown with Ohio State, but I want to give you a chance to expound on what we can expect to see at the Wolverine.
Yeah, I mean, it's the 10th week in a row where we've had just kind of casual domination from this team. So at this point, the takeaways are kind of are what they have been. But I mean, no one, again, I don't want to get up here and pontificate, but I think in our market, no one puts out a better post-game package. I mean, we've got every single angle covered, from a post-game live reactions to offensive and defensive notes to columns from guys like Chris Ballas and John Borton and Clayton Safey, who's a content machine as well. So, yeah, I mean, just about every single angle you could ever imagine having covered coming out of that football game, we've got it there, and it's been that way every week too. So it's been, these are, as you know, these are a lot easier to do when the team is winning and people are excited and they'll click on whatever you throw out there. But yeah, we're now kind of in this, once Michigan got past that Michigan State game, it's all eyes on Ohio State. And, there's this building, I would say in years past, like a building anxiety towards it, but now it's like a building anxiousness.
Yeah.
Let's get there and do it 2 times in a row. So yeah, been a lot of fun and so much content at our site, and proud to be a part of it.
And you can get it right now for just $10 all the way. So like let's do this now. Everybody jump on board, sign up. It's $10. What are we waiting on? Anthony, always good to talk to you, man. Be well. We'll talk to you again, I'm sure, the week of the Michigan Ohio State game.
Sounds great. Thank you for having me.